Honey, when I tell you, I knew they were behind it. I knew Turning Point USA or Mega was behind it and had a lot to do with protecting these white boys from Nolan Wales. Nolan Wales, we need to get justice for him. And his white friends are in the center of this all, right? Trying to point the fingers at Katie when Katie came out here and cleared her name. So let's get right into it. I saw this video of Atisa Tale. Shout out to her. She's doing a great job breaking this thing down. And I want to react to what she's saying and what she's talking about. So let's go over here and I'm going to play and react. Listen to what girl is saying.
Show you that there is a fourth boat. On top of that, TMZ has an interesting article that seems to be hinting and trying to move toward that. Why is a fourth boat important? Because it shows that there may have been an adult on one of those boats. And when I say adult, I don't mean Bart. I mean an actual adult on one of those boats. On top of that, there is a political connection that appears to connect the governor and Turning Point USA, two people involved in this case.
I knew it. Did y'all know it? Press 5. Thank you, Tisa. Thank you, Tisa. Woo, if anybody gonna break the tooth, it's gonna be Tisa Grace, Tisa Tales, and Nancy Grace. Now let me tell y'all something, okay? She said the Turning Point USA, if you guys don't know who that is, that's like Mega times 5. They all in the Republican Party. Turning USA, they have associates that are trying to take away women vote. They don't want women to vote. They want the patriarchy back. They're evil. They use religion as a weapon, and they're trying to force. They okay with kids getting pregnant, the molest and all that. They get in trouble for that a lot, right? So they are in bed with Trump because, you know, all of them are together. The MAGAs, all of them, they all family together. The KKK, they all together, honey. So she said, you know, one of the boys' parents or family members are associated with Turning Point. So if they are associated with Turning Point, they have political power with Trump. And they're going to be like, no, we need to make it where our nephew, our kid, our family don't got shit to do with it. Even if they do, let's cover it up. I'm going to put X amount of dollars. These families are big monies. They are millionaires. They're billionaires. And not only that, they are politically strong. They are politically powerful. And I know they're mad right now because they're like, how can we be millionaires? How can we have, they control the media. They control, they have power in government, to the state, to the White House. How they got all that power and they still struggling, trying to lie. They still struggling, trying to get the truth from coming out. You know why? Because God is involved and he's shaking the table on Nolan Wales. Amen. Amen. That's all that is. So, yeah, she's exposing it. And they have ties with the state mayor too, governor. So that means that it's not going to be a fair, and they're going to always cover for their people. Just like police. You know how police are, law and order. If a police do something bad, how they cover for each other. Just like how gang people are. Gang people, when they do something bad, they're going to cover for their gang members. It's the same thing. They are covering for each other. Okay? It's the same thing. That's why you can't get no straightforward answers.
Guys, hold on. I guarantee you by the end of this video, you will have a different perspective and have more information to answer the question that everybody wants to know. What happened to Nolan Wells? First of all, before I present the evidence of the fourth boat, I'm going to show you that in a second. Now let's get into TMZ and the way TMZ seems to be soft launching this. Listen to this. Actually, no. Let's get into the proof of the boat. And then we're going to get into the TMZ article about the way they also appear to be soft launching it. Now, keep in mind, TMZ seems like they are highly sympathetic to Nolan's friends. Highly sympathetic to Nolan's friend.
Tell it, Tisa. TMZ is compromised And just because TMZ is ran by gay men, don't forget, a lot of homosexuals are megas, okay? When I did look it up, ask yourself, what is the percentage of gays that's in Turning Point and Mega and all that? They're going to tell you 16%. And that's not including the down low white gay men. It is a lot of down low men, okay? That's in Mega. They be on Grindr and shit. And honey, so you may think, well, ain't you gay? Ain't you liberal and all that, Democrat? A lot of homosexuals are not, okay? Okay, I'm just letting y'all know that. Especially if they white. They white? Oh, hell no. Let's go.
Could be a coincidence, but you know the way TMZ gets down. Anyway, let's get into the evidence about the fourth boat, the possible adult, a maybe cover-up, and the political ties and connections. Interesting enough, wasn't Warren's daddy up there screaming, this is a political conspiracy? I bet you think it is, because y'all know maybe what's going on your side. It's just a thought.
Yes, they know. They know. It's the truth. Bump a thought. This is how they do. Okay, whatever they do, they accuse you of doing that same shit they doing. Okay, so they're pushing a conspiracy that it was Katie. They're pushing a conspiracy that Nolan did this shit to himself. They pushing a conspiracy that it was a drowning. They started put the goddamn conspiracy when they had the sheriff come out here talking about accidental drowning. You know, no foul play. That's all conspiracy, because he didn't have the facts. And he was working with Turning Point USA and the mega people. But when that black mama came out here and said, no, I'm not accepting that, when she bring her to the blogs, all hell broke loose. Then we found out about it. All hell broke loose, honey. Yeah. They've been attacking her mother, all because she want the truth. They don't want you to know the truth, because the truth hurts, and they know what they did, and they need to be locked up in jail. That's what it is. That's what it is.
All right, let's get into this. You guys, turn your volume up, and if you can, look at your screens. We are bringing in Nerdy Pink Panther 1 on TikTok. Make sure you give her a follow, because I think she did an excellent job of assembling all the information. Let's go.
Not only have I found more evidence of a fourth boat, not only have I found a lie in their timeline, but I have also discovered a deep political connection, not only to a former
Did you hear that? A lie in a timeline. Brandon Tatum got the nerve. Well, they never lie, and they're so honest, and they're so forthcoming. Bullshit. All of them lie. They not consistent. But that's the conspirative narrative. They want y'all to believe that these are some honest, genuine, good folks. They not.
of Mississippi, but to Turning Point USA. So first off, this picture has surfaced in which it's clearly the group of boats a little bit further out in the water altogether. Now here's what is supposedly Bart's boat. We can see the Garmin on top, can confirm this black boat from this other picture. We can see Wyatt's Triton right here, and we can confirm that by the motor. As you can see right here, has that black stripe on the white motor. Now in between the two boats is the Palm Beach. You can clearly see it labeled, and it's got that stripe, right? As you can see, the stripe is there. And yet there's this design right here and no Palm Beach. And you may be like, Jay, that doesn't prove that it's a different boat. Maybe we just can't see it, even though it should be right there according to this picture. But if you look in this video, you can see that there is a black propeller right there. See black propeller, and you can very clearly see the Palm Beach right there on the side. And if you look really carefully in this photo, you can see right there a black propeller. There's another boat on the other side of these three boats. And given the lack of the name on the boat and the black propeller, I'm going to assume the Palm Beach is on the other side,
Which is a good...
means there's four boats.
Sorry about that. Let's just rewind this really quick. Hold on.
Right there, a black propeller. There's another boat on the other side of these three boats. Okay. And given the lack of the name on the boat and the black propeller, I'm going to assume the Palm Beach is on the other side.
So now we're looking at four boats. But hold on. The evidence gets even clearer. Hold on.
Which means there's four boats right here. Then I rewatched Warren's interview.
And I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. No one was not with me. And I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck. And, well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went and with my buddies, we went, filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from Fort Bayou boat launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day.
So Wyatt had his buddy's boat already hooked up to the back of his truck. He said he and Wyatt and his other buddy went and got ice and filled up the boats. And Wyatt went and put the Palm Beach, his smaller boat, into the water. And we know that there was a second boat, the Triton, that was driven by Wyatt. Wyatt had two boats in the water. Who was driving his other boat?
Again, who was driving the other boat? If he, according to this photo evidence you just saw, now has two boats in the water.
Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart because we had a lot of friends from college coming down, and I called Bart that morning. I was like, "Hey man, can you take your boat out?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go, and I'll take the boat. And I'll take you and your friends." Of course, I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was probably ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people.
Now, wait a minute. So Warren already had a boat hooked up when he woke up that morning. I'm assuming that that had to be the Triton that was hooked up, right? Then he said that Wyatt went and put his smaller boat, the Palm Beach, into the water. And Warren said that he was the one who drove the Palm Beach to their friend's dock. Assuming that Wyatt drove the Triton to the dock and Bart drove his own boat to that dock, who drove the Palm Beach out to the water then?
Exactly.
Because he said that he got a ride in with Bart. Even though at one point during the interview, he said all of his stuff was on the Palm Beach. So it sounds to me like Warren was the one driving the Palm Beach. I'm also like, what parent would let their kid, who's obviously going off to party, take 2 of their boats and let them let their drunk friends drive? Like, it isn't making sense to me. I mean, maybe these parents are just shitty parents and irresponsible. Then he also said that he contacted Bart that morning to see if he could come. And Bart was like, yeah, I can give all your friends a ride, blah, blah, blah. According to him, there were 10-ish people, 15 people on that boat. So where were those people originally supposed to ride in on? They'd been planning it for weeks. They were excited about it. Why did Bart have to suddenly step in and take all these people? And
let's think about that. Why indeed?
And remember, Bart said that his dad had canceled going out on the boat that day, so he could do it. Something's not adding up here. I think there was an adult somewhere in this mix. It would also explain how they all thought quickly on their feet with the sea tow. I wouldn't be surprised if an adult didn't come out there and just go off with other adults that were also on Horn Island and let the kids hang out with the boats. Here's where things are going to get interesting, folks. There are more GPS coordinates in the report than what we have seen publicly. I'm going to play you a clip from the interview, but remember, at 5:30 is when they started picking up regular speed, all right? It's right here, 525, speed miles, 30 to 35 knots. So here we go.
Planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat.
So Wyatt could hop back in. Let's keep going.
Then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and, napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the odds.
Now, you heard him. He said that they took off going 40 miles an hour, and they didn't go to his buddy's grandparents' house, but they went to Fort Bayou to go do a plug thing. Except right here, 5:44, vessel arrives at El Camino Road. 8 minutes later, then it departs from El Camino Road and headed east into Fort Bayou. So right there, we have a lie. The boat did stop before going into Fort Bayou. 6 minutes.
Or which boat stopped before going into Fort Bayou? Because if they're all getting their alibi together, maybe they're all intermingling facts on the story. Which boat? But let's keep going.
Later, it comes back to El Camino Road, and the vessel departed El Camino Road half an hour later, headed southwest to St. Martin Bayou, and then turned southeast into Biloxi Bay Bridge. Then they went back to the Bayou boat launch. Then the boat was taken to Cardinal Lane, which was Wyatt's residence. Now, because I am an absolute genius, I was able to find it. This was where they left and where they came back that day, then came back several times. Now, first off, why aren't we seeing footage of them returning that day? We know.
Now, this is an important point because they've been releasing footage left and right to TMZ about all this stuff. They even released. Why are they not releasing all the footage? Why can't we see one who got to the dock, who deplaned the dock, but more important, I want to see their body language or the way they were acting when they got.
Yeah, I want to see that too. That's a good ass observation. Why don't we see the video footage when they got back to their house? We saw the video footage of them leaving. Play the video footage of them coming back. Press 1 if you agree. We want all the video footage. Don't just show us little bits. We want all of them. Great job, this lady and Tisa. Tell it.
Back from Horn Island with Nolan, who mysteriously vanished. How were they moving? How were they acting?
That Nolan was with them when they left. So why do they have the security cams from that morning, but not that night? Whose grandparents live there? Jax Patalo, whose family owns a pharmacy. It goes back deeper than that because George Patalo Sr., which is Jax's great-grandfather who is deceased, as it turns out, his great-grandfather was appointed and served on the staff of Mississippi Governor Cliff Finch. As you can see, I've confirmed Jax's relation.
Ooh, so he's legendary. They're iconic in the state of Mississippi. And if you pass and they're known as great, it's like the great Reagan and the Republican Party. Do you think they're going to allow Reagan grandson to go down for a murder of a black man? Hell no. They're going to protect their own. Ooh, this is good.
And as it turns out, Cliff Finch, well, he was in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1960 to 1964 and supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor, to preserve segregation in the state.
They came from racism, y'all. They came from racism. Racism lives in their bloodline. Did y'all hear that? Press 2 if you heard it. Their grandparents are racist. They taught their kids to be racist, and I'm sure they taught their grandkids to be racist too. And in Mississippi, they love them. These were political leaders. That's the reason why they live in a lifestyle that they live now, based on their racist elders, their racist ancestors. Hell.
The federal grand jury conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And those sort of political connections seem to trickle down through the generations, so now we know why the governor got involved. And I started looking into the lawyer that's handling the defamation case from the Bart family. So from 2015 to 2018, he was state director of Americans for Prosperity. Then in 2018 to 2020, he was vice president of Stand Together while being vice president of Americans for Prosperity. Stand Together is a Charles Koch nonprofit, and Americans for Prosperity is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group affiliated with Charles Koch and David Koch. And if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they're fucking evil. Guess who's one of the major funders for Turning Point USA? Major donors for the Koch brothers also are primary financial pillars for Turning Point USA, specifically their campus operations. And guess who used to serve as the director?
I told y'all they all involved. I knew it. I didn't need this lady to tell me they all involved. I know they stick together and they all involved.
Of urban engagement.
You guys, did she not break it down?
Yes,
did
she
I not
did.
promise you
Yes, she
that this
did.
was going to be a gold mine? But she gave us a lot of information. But I think the thing we 100% need to focus on, first of all, is was there another adult on that boat? Now, interestingly enough,
Ooh, she broke it down, Tisa, honey. Thank you for that. Comment. I want to know your thoughts about that, and I